Hey, welcome to the Empowered and Free podcast. My name is Erin Kimbrell, and I'm a counselor, certified life coach, breathwork coach, and small town mom of two. I know firsthand what it feels like to live with high functioning anxiety. For most of my life, I had so much mental mess, anxiety, people pleasing, perfectionism, overthinking, constant worrying, and never feeling good enough. On my decade-long journey to feeling better, I've learned how to take back my life from high-functioning anxiety and helped others to do the same through my coaching and breathwork programs. Now I want to share everything I know with you. This podcast will help you feel empowered over your high-functioning anxiety and free to finally live the life of your dreams. Now, grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and dive into the episode. I'm Erin Kimbrell, and this is the Empowered and Free podcast. Hey, friend. Welcome back to the Empowered and Free podcast. Today, we're talking about the top 10 things that I wish I would have known when I started this anxiety healing journey. And you guys know I'm always very transparent and open and honest. And I am struggling with a little bit of anxiety as I share this. I think it's hard to put my opinion out there a lot of times because a lot of what I say is kind of countercultural. Like I shared a couple episodes back on episode 56, if you hop on Google and ask what to do about anxiety, you're going to get this little, I don't even know, kind of generic response, I guess you could say. And a lot of things I share are opposite of that. So as I was thinking about recording this episode and I'm going to repost this kind of on social media, and I am a little nervous about how it will be received because people tend to get very defensive about anxiety and mental health. And so, as I always say, everything I say is shared in love. It is in not only, yes, my own experience and my own opinion, but also with the women that I've worked with to help them on their anxiety healing journey as well. So, I'm going to share with you the 10 things that I wish I would have known in hopes that it will help you too. Okay. We're going to start off by talking through 5 kind of mindset blocks and shifts that I wish I would have known. And then we're going to get into the practical. So hang on through the whole episode because there's some really good stuff in here. Also, my allergies are on level 10. So if I sound a little congested, that is why. It is February. Why are the allergies happening earlier and earlier each year? That's how I'm feeling. But it's all right. We're going to make it through. We are on double the allergy meds right now. Okay, let's get into the top 5 mindset things that I wish I would have known when I started this anxiety healing journey. Number 1. What you tell yourself about this journey matters. This goes for absolutely everything you do in life, but especially when we're talking about your mental health and the anxiety you experience. What you tell yourself matters. You have to believe in yourself because what you believe comes true. So if you are thinking I'm never going to do this, there's no way, my anxiety's too bad, I'm too far gone, I'm too messed up. And these are actual things that I've heard. Women send me in the DMs, or clients that I start working with, they'll talk through these things. So I know those are real things that you feel. And again, what you tell yourself matters. Now, I know, again, the anxious voice inside of your head will tell you, you can't do this. You suck. You're a failure. You're never going to get better. But I want you to just notice that no, that's actually the anxiety talking instead. That is not reality. That is not your truth. That is just kind of that anxious little critical voice that we all have in our head. Some of us, it's louder than others. And I'm going to talk you through some ways to kind of get your power back with that as we move through these things that I wish that I would have known. But the voice, the script that is running in your head is so incredibly important. So when you hear that anxious voice talking, that little nagging critical voice, you just got to cut it off at the knees. We're done with that. And if you're like, okay, easier said than done, absolutely. I totally get that too. And I can help you learn how to do that. I can help you learn how to distinguish between an anxious thought and a thought that is based in reality. And then I teach you how to cut those anxious thoughts off at the knees, okay? You are in control of your thoughts, my friend, not the other way around. And what you tell yourself truly matters on this journey. So that is number 1. a mindset shift that I need you to make as you move through this anxiety healing journey. Number two, this will take time. I know that a lot of us are very like black and white thinkers, all or nothing thinkers. We want it done today. We put way too much on our plate. If you have ever like started the new year or started a new month and you've like made all these goals and you decided you were going to like take on this whole new routine and start 10 new things at one time, I feel you. I get it. We are not the people that typically take the gradual steps and understand that everything takes time. We want something and we want it now. Again, totally something that I've struggled with in the past, something that I have to constantly kind of check myself on is like, is this actually realistic? And you thinking that you're going to take a lifetime of anxious habits and switch them around in super short amount of time is not realistic. Like, again, I love you. It's not realistic. For me, I lived with anxiety for over 30 years of my life before I finally kind of realized what was going on and learned through a very long journey how to help myself feel better. It would have been totally impossible for me to go, oh yeah, I can do this in like a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months. Like it took me some time and it will take you time too. It takes time to unlearn old habits and then relearn new habits. You absolutely can through neuroplasticity. This is something that I love to talk about. I talk a lot inside of the Haven about neuroplasticity, but this just means your old brain can learn new tricks. Your brain is a muscle, just like the other muscles in our body, and it absolutely can form new neural pathways, new thought patterns. Okay. So this will take time. That is number two on this list of things that I wish that I would have known before I started the journey. It's okay that it takes time. No need to rush it. Everything happens in perfect timing. That is one of my favorite mantras and affirmations that I tell myself and my clients all the time. Super helpful. All right, number three. Ooh, this is another goodie. I know my clients are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We've heard you say these all the time because they're so true. Number three is healing isn't linear. I know that is a popular saying going around on the internet, and I am here for it because it is so incredibly true. But when we think about what that looks like in our real life, let me break it down. I am always, like I said, repeating this to clients when they're having an off day or they're having a bad week and they just feel like really down on themselves and they're like, I'm backtracking, I'm sliding back, like here I am, like not doing as good as I thought, and I'm losing my progress and I'm comparing myself to this other person or I'm comparing myself to you, Erin, and I just don't feel like I'm making enough progress. There are days where I feel like I'm on top of the world. And I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Like, look how far I've come. I'm light, I'm peaceful, I'm happy. I'm just like bebopping through life, like on cloud nine, literally feeling like a cloud is carrying me. Then there are days when I still feel the presence of anxiety. I feel kind of an anxious moment come up, or I feel that in my chest, or I feel myself like worrying some or overthinking. Perfectionism is for sure something I have to catch myself on in my work, is really how it shows up. There are days when that happens, okay? One day is not worse than another day. On the days when I feel like I'm having more of a struggle versus the days when everything feels great and wonderful and happy, it doesn't mean that I'm having a bad day the first time and a great day the second time. Sure, those days are easier, but it doesn't also mean that I'm backsliding or I'm failing. It just means that I'm human. It just means that I'm going through life. My clients know I also say life gets lifey sometimes. Your stress level gets higher, things come up in our life where we have a move or we have a job change or something comes up in our health or with our family or whatever it is. And maybe anxiety feels like it is there more often than it was. Life is lifey. And what we have to do in those moments is just ride the roller coaster, okay? Because the roller coaster will come up again. So, guilting yourself, beating yourself up, all of those things just make you feel worse. So, remember, healing is not this linear journey where you're just going up, 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 up. Every day is better than the day before. That is not realistic, friends. Again, that is kind of like a little bit of an anxious thought where you're like, okay, it was so good and now it's bad, or now I'm not doing as well, or like I said, I'm falling back, I'm not making as much progress. That is an anxious thought in itself. Okay. So, number three is that healing isn't linear. You cannot possibly expect yourself to just get better and better every single day because life happens. We are human and our emotions change from day to day. That was number three. And the things that I wish that I would have known when I started this healing journey. Let's talk about number four. Number four is another good one. Again, something I repeat to myself all the time. I am years into this. I don't even know how many years. I probably should count back. I think I started all of this, and by this, I mean like this journey to feel better, to love myself, to feel less anxious on a daily basis. Probably a decade ago is when I started working on this. So, I am still reminding myself of these things this far into it. Okay. And number four is that I am in control of my thoughts. It is not the other way around. Okay. The moment that you feel powerless to your anxiety, the anxiety has won. And that's not the vibe that we're taking into 2025. Now, again, with love, I say that I know anxiety can feel all consuming sometimes. You just feel like it is like you can't shake it, you can't get rid of it. Maybe you've tried a couple things to help, and it just feels like it's like all there, and you can't catch your breath, and your chest feels heavy, and your thoughts are all over the place. And I'm just reminding you, you got to ride out the storm. Okay. Remember that that feeling is temporary. It really is. I know it's a lot in the moment, but it is temporary, and that feeling will pass. If you're at a point where it feels really hard, you think, yeah, this feeling is not passing, I'm feeling this every single day, then please reach out. Okay. There's so much help. I would love to offer you hope and encouragement, but I would also love to offer you a proven process to get you out of that feeling that you're in right now. Because back to number four, you are in control. You are in control of your thoughts, you are in control of your emotions, and I can teach you that. It is such a teachable thing that we can walk through together, and I promise I'm here for you. There is a reason this podcast is called the Empowered and Free podcast because I teach empowerment. I teach women and people how to take their power back from anxiety so that they know they're in control. They're in the driver's seat. You are in the driver's seat of your life. And especially with the anxious thoughts and feelings that you have, I can teach you how to take that power back. So that is number four of the things that I wish I would have known is that I am in control of my thoughts, not the other way around. And then the last mindset tip I want to teach you here is that, and you guys have heard me say this before, getting to the root cause of your anxiety is how you heal long term. Using anxiety tools, super duper helpful, okay? But unless you get to the root cause of your anxiety, it is going to continue to come back. You guys have heard me use the saying, this is like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. If we just keep using different anxiety tools or hacks we find online, and maybe we're trying to reframe our thoughts and we're doing these little tips and tricks, and those tips and tricks are cool. I love a tip or trick, but these are not the things that are getting to the basis of where the anxiety is stemming from in the first place. Remember how I said in episode 56 that managing your anxiety is out for 2025? I truly mean that. And if you keep doing things like these tips and tricks without getting to the root cause of your anxiety, you're really wasting your time and your energy. It takes a lot of effort to do those things when instead you could be putting your time and energy and effort into getting to the root cause of your anxiety and nip it in the bud. That is life changing, truly life changing. And that is why I had to add it to the list. Coming in at number five, getting to the root cause of your anxiety is how you heal long term. That is what I want for all of you guys, okay? I can teach you the tips and tricks, but really what my bread and butter is helping you get to that root cause of your anxiety so that it doesn't continue to show up for you every single day. All right, those are the goodies, the little mindset shifts that we have to make as we're on this anxiety healing journey. And now I want to get to some of the more practical stuff. Like, what are the things that you can be doing on a daily basis to help you feel better? I love a good combination of mindset and practical because that is what has helped me and helped my clients too. So let's get into five practical things that I wish I would have known on this anxiety healing journey. Number six on the list is that anxiety does not just come from the mind. I know I spent some time here talking to you about mindset shifts and things that you need to know, but anxiety also comes from the body. So, what I also teach you to do is take what is called a bottom up approach. We learn how to work with the body. Inside the Haven for High Functioning Anxiety, I talk a lot about learning how to connect with your body. And now, as somebody who lived very disconnected from my body for most of my life, because I just spent a lot of time in my mind, like trying to figure things out, and I used my brain for all the great things that it has. I wasn't used to noticing how my body was doing, like connecting to my body, picking up on signals that it was sending. And that is actually super duper important. So, as we learn this, again, bottom up approach where we are working with the body to help us actually calm down anxiety from that body based or somatic point of view, we have to practice things on a daily basis that help with that kind of thing. So some of my favorites, you guys know I love breath work. Breath work was pivotal for me. It was something that helped me kind of get out of that daily experience of anxiety when I was really struggling, and the anxious feelings in my body were so like just all encompassing every single day. It was so heavy. I couldn't stop for a second because my chest was heavy and I couldn't catch my breath and my mind was all over the place. It was so scattered. That is when I turned to breath work. Again, a really great tool to help you shift out of an anxious moment. I have some awesome episodes. Episode 5 and episode 7 are top fan favorites on the podcast because I actually walk you through a short breathwork session. So definitely check those out if those will be helpful. A thing that I've been learning to love lately that is another kind of body-based approach is tapping, EFT tapping. I would love to eventually get certified in this, but right now I work through a couple of coaches that I have who use tapping, and I am actually loving it. So I will say at first when I tried it, I was like, this doesn't really help. That's just kind of I have like this, what's the word? Skeptical part of me that goes, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. So if you have that too, I feel you. But I tried tapping. I was like, yeah, this doesn't work for me. And then the more I tried it, I was like, oh, actually, I do really like this. So tapping is cool because you hit different meridian points on your body that are kind of like energy centers that can help you shift in whatever way you need to. This is great for anxiety, but I also use it for a lot of other things like mindset blocks that I'm hitting in my life or even subconscious beliefs that I have. Love working through those with tapping. So tapping has been awesome. And then the other thing I want to share is that I do a bunch of somatic practices, again, on a weekly basis. I won't say an everyday basis, but a weekly basis to help regulate my nervous system. This is something that we go so deep into inside of the Haven because it is so important. Me using this like kind of popular term, I guess, regulating my nervous system. Like that is very trendy right now. And again, for good reason. I love to see it because people need to learn it. And I teach you how to do that. How do we regulate our nervous system from a really stressed out state to a rest and digest state? Okay, I've talked a little bit about that here on the podcast, but again, something I go so much deeper into with my clients. So short little somatic practices that I can do, like a quick ear massage or, of course, some deep breathing, or there are so many that I love to use, but somatic practices are helpful because back to number 6, the thing that I wish that I would have known when I started this anxiety healing journey, anxiety doesn't just come from the mind. It comes from the body too. So when we learn how to regulate the body and calm down from within, it is a ripple effect into our thoughts. Super cool stuff. I sound a little bit like a nerd, but it really is incredible. Okay. All right, let's get into number 7. So, number 7, I kind of touched on this a little bit in number 6, but with number 7, I had to get to know my body. I told you guys that I used to spend a lot of time in the mind trying to think everything through, trying to figure everything out, trying to find the perfect piece to the puzzle that was like the perfect answer, the perfect solution, planning my life out like 5, 10 years in advance because I didn't want surprises. Like, hello, I am an overthinker, control freak, planner, type A, all the things. And one of the biggest things that helped me in my journey was actually learning how to like let go of some of that control. I joke with my friend Courtney, who is also one of my clients, but learning to surrender was such a lesson for me. So, back to number 7, getting to know your body is super duper important because I ignored mine for so long. And one of the ways that I love to teach to getting to know your body is the stoplight. Okay, so this is a tool that I teach to my clients. And I like to think of anxiety like a stoplight. There is a green zone, a yellow zone, and a red zone. And as you learn the different physical symptoms that you have that come up with anxiety, as you kind of tune into your body a little bit more, and noticing things that are happening, paying attention, you will be able to figure out what zone you're in. Okay. So I'll just quickly explain it. So to me, feeling in a green zone is when my anxiety is good. And my anxiety is, quote, manageable, right? Like that's the term that we love to use. But I feel really calm and relaxed. Maybe there are times when I find myself feeling a little bit uneasy, but I'm able to calm myself down and remind myself that I'm safe and I'm okay. Or also if I notice myself like worrying a little bit, I can catch and stop my thoughts and kind of reframe some of those. Okay. So again, green is good. I am feeling pretty good when I'm in the green zone. When I'm in the yellow zone, I notice that anxiety is starting to kind of inhibit my functioning a little bit. So it's messing with my life a little bit more. Maybe I'm having trouble concentrating. I'm feeling really forgetful. I'm super tired. For me, I have a lot of irritability. I'm super quick to anger. I get really mad really fast. Or maybe I notice that I'm having trouble falling asleep. I'm not going to name all of the things, but for me, the yellow zone is like anxiety is showing up and it's actually messing with me a little bit. So that's the yellow zone when we need to take a little bit more caution. And then, of course, we have the red zone. This is when anxiety has actually caused you not to be able to function anymore. So, this is kind of when we are having some dizziness or lightheadedness. This is when we're having panic attacks. This might even be when you're hyperventilating or you're throwing up. I used to do that when I would get super anxious. So, this is when the body is like sending clear alarm signals of like, I am not okay. This is not feeling good. And again, you're not able to kind of go on with life as normal. Okay. So that's how I see the three different zones. And you get to notice when you're paying attention to your body, getting to know your body a little bit more, what zone you're in. Okay. So this is just something I'd love for you to start noticing today. Again, normally a tip that I teach my clients, but it's super important and I want to share it here on the podcast. So, how can you notice where your body is at on any given day? Any given moment of any given day. How are you right now? Like which zone would you rate yourself in right now? Then what we get to do from there is learn what to do. Then what we get to do from there is learn what to do in each zone. So again, I teach this all inside of the Haven, but in the green zone, I'll just keep it super simple. This is the time that you actually practice some of those good anxiety tools. So from here, inside of the Haven, I teach you what to do when you're in each of the zones. But I just want to keep it simple for today. I'm talking about how to get to know your body a little bit better. So maybe you take time to check in once today or twice today and see kind of what zone you're in. Using my stoplight process can actually help you pick up on, hey, where am I at? How am I feeling? And this is a really good way to get to know your body. If learning your anxiety symptoms is something completely new to you, maybe that's where you start. Like, what is showing up in your body? So, wherever you're at, it is okay. I've worked with clients who have literally no recognition of where they're at in their body. That's okay. I have clients who are so numb to how they're feeling because they have shut that part of their knowing off for so long that they're really starting at that baseline. And I am good to help you with wherever you're at. It is okay. Nothing is too far gone to be helped. I promise you that. So that is number seven. I had to get to know my body. I wish I would have known that a little bit sooner, but I'm so grateful that I learned that because it is super important. All right, three more here on our practical tips for things that I wish that I would have known in this anxiety healing journey. Number eight is kind of goes along with what I just shared. Number eight is that you get to get really good at practicing your tools when you are in a calm, regulated state. Okay, not a stressed out state. So let's go back to that stoplight example I just used. When you are in the green zone and you're feeling good, this is actually the time when I really recommend that clients practice anxiety tools because they feel good. They're in that good state of mind. Their body is calm. They can try a tool and go, do I like this? Do I not like this? Back to my example about tapping that I shared. When I was trying tapping, at first I was like, yeah, I don't really think I like this. And then the more I practiced it, I was like, oh, I actually really do like this. This is really helping me. This is a new tool that I'm going to put inside of my toolbox. So when we're in that green zone, when we're in that calm, regulated state, this is the time to be practicing our tools. When you're in the yellow, it is hard to kind of go back and go, okay, these are the tools that I'm going to use. But of course, we want to practice them when we're in the yellow state. It's just a little bit harder. When we're in that red zone, this is what I hear from clients is that they completely blank out. Our body and mind has shifted into kind of a survival state, and it is really hard to pull from the part of our brain that has this knowing. Okay. So, what we want to do is learn to make it almost second nature. That as we're in the green zone and maybe we start creeping into the yellow zone, our body automatically kind of jumps in and goes, oh, yeah, let's take some deep breaths. This is the craziest thing for me that I noticed that maybe I would be like sitting at my computer and all of a sudden I would take a deep breath and I would go like, interesting. Because I hadn't even registered that I was feeling stressed out. But then as I look, you guys know I love my aura ring that I wear. My aura ring tracks my stress levels. It tracks the signals that my body is sending through the ring, which is like crazy technology, but it does, and it can rank my stress level constantly throughout the day. And what I would see is exactly that. I was in a stressed out state. My body would do something like take a deep breath to help try to calm down, bring me back to that regulated state. This has so much to do with our nervous system too, okay? But when we're in that red state, again, super duper hard to know what to do. So learning how to do it when we're in that really good state, that calm, rest and digest, or what I call the green zone, that's the time to practice. So that is number 8. I wish that I would have done that. I thought that I had to like wait until I was feeling really bad to practice my tools, and that's actually not the best thing to do. Couple more. Number 9. Oh, this is a big one. I could do a whole episode on this. In fact, I have a whole phase, which is a group of lessons inside of the Haven that helps you tackle this all together. So I'm just going to kind of talk about it on a really high level. Number 9 of the things that I wish I would have known is that your habits and your patterns matter. Okay. So, of course, you're like, sure, yes. So, let me break down what I mean by that. I have to do basic things to care for myself every single day to keep my anxiety low. Okay, so here's some examples. Get enough sleep. If I get 4 hours of sleep, it is so hard for me to kind of stay cool and calm throughout the day. It is harder for me to regulate my emotions. My mind is all over the place. It's harder for me to kind of calm down any anxious thoughts that crop up. That is normal because our bodies need a certain level of sleep. It is this basic thing like sleep that makes a big difference, okay? That is one of the first things that I ask clients about is how much sleep are you getting? Another example here, as I take a sip of water, hold on. Another example here is drinking enough water. If you are dehydrated, again, even 2% dehydration can cause a change in how our brain and our body work. AKA, you're not going to feel as good as you could if you had enough water. So I encourage you get that water bottle you like, carry it with you as much as you can. I have my emotional support water bottle pretty much on hand 24/7. I'm a little over the top with that though, but getting enough water is super important too. Moving your body. Okay. I have to remind myself of this too. I can get a little antsy pantsy the more I kind of sit. I can kind of feel that energy building up. So, moving your body is an incredible tool, especially when you struggle with anxious energy. That feeling, that energy doesn't just want to be in our body, it wants to move. So if you're somebody who is pretty sedentary, a lot of my work tends to be sedentary because I'm either sitting at the computer, like working with a client, or I'm working on things behind the scenes. If you follow me on Instagram stories, you know I just recently got a walking pad and I've been loving to use that at just a really slow pace to get up and move my body more because in my day to day, not a thing that happens all the time. But moving your body, again, really important. I keep saying things are really important because they really are. Another thing that helps with just, we're talking again, basic habits and things that you do every day. Going outside, okay? Getting that sunshine on your skin, on your body. We're actually not meant to be inside all the time as humans. We learned a long time ago to build things like houses to protect us, which are fantastic. But our nature is to be outside in the sunshine, kind of letting that soak on our skin. I'm asking for like 10 minutes a day. And again, I know it's hard. I go to work. Some of us start our days when it's dark and end our days when it's dark. Thank goodness days are getting a little bit longer. I feel myself getting happier and happier by the day. But getting outside just for a few minutes can make a big difference in how you feel. Laying off your phone, not being on your phone as much. This is something, if you guys have been listening to the podcast, I talked about in the summer, I was working with a coach to heal my hormones, and she said some of the worst things you can do for your stress levels and your cortisol is looking at your phone first thing in the morning and right before you go to bed. And when are the two times that I'm on my phone the most or was on my phone the most? First thing in the morning, right before I go to bed. So those are some habits that I was working on over the summer. I'm still working on making sure that I try my best to kind of like cut that out as much as I can. But the more that I'm on my phone, I do feel my anxiety level creeping up. My aura ring tells me the same thing. So I told you I was going to give you the practical. Like, this is the practical. Your habits and your patterns and the things that you do every single day matter. When I notice more anxiety in my life, I go right to these things to figure out what is showing up in my habits and my patterns that I'm doing. Okay. Same thing. What you eat and what you drink makes a big difference. If you overload on sugar or caffeine, again, speaking from personal experience, you will absolutely notice a difference in your anxiety levels because they can cause more anxiety in the body. So, all of this, again, I told you I was going to talk super high level, but this is what we do when we learn to break your anxious patterns and your habits. I know it is a lot easier said than done. These are things that I have worked on over years of being on this anxiety healing journey. But that's what I'm here to help you with. Okay. I happen to learn how to make it easy. I teach you some tips that will help you, like coupling things together, aka doing two things at the same time. That is just like a little tip on creating new habits. I'm here to help you with that. But that's a big one. Number nine, remembering that your habits and your patterns matter in your anxiety levels and on this anxiety healing journey. All right, let's wrap it up with number 10. Number 10 is specific just to my female listeners here because we're going to talk about how the female cycle and the hormones that you feel can play a big part in how much anxiety that you feel. So, men operate on a 24-hour hormonal cycle, right? Like every 24 hours, they kind of reset and they're back at the same. Women are not that way. We have a typically 28-day cycle, and our hormones that we experience ebb and flow throughout that. Now, I am not a specialist in this by any means, but here's what I know and how it showed up in my real life. When I had back in the day, this would have been probably COVID time, so what, 4 years ago? And I had worked through a lot of the mindset work of anxiety. I had like learned how to reframe my thoughts and what I now call my pivot, part of my process. I had learned how to do that. And then I was learning to work through the physical part of my anxiety. And I was wondering, like, a few days before my period started, I would notice that my anxiety was higher and just wondering, like, why that was. Because it felt like something I couldn't shake. It wasn't that it was coming from my circumstances, like, nothing in my life was changing, but I was just feeling more anxious. And not only would I feel the physical symptoms, but I would even notice it in my thoughts sometimes too, which is like, whoa, what is happening here? Like I've done so much work. I had to not beat myself up about that and was just noticing that about every month this thing would kind of happen where my anxiety would rise. And this is why I say that anxiety can come from the body too. As your hormones ebb and flow throughout the month, again, your emotions do with those as well. And a big part of that is progesterone. Progesterone is what I call the chill out hormone. It helps you chill out. We even can call it nature's Xanax, which is kind of funny, but I love to refer to it that way. So, progesterone helps us feel that relaxed version of ourselves. And progesterone takes a big dip, it drops a lot before your period starts. You can even Google this if you kind of want to see the fluctuations that happen. But what that means is the chill is gone. Hence, more anxiety kind of leading up the days before your period or even as you're on your period. So, I say that because I want you to know that again, when we go back to like, why am I having these hard days and what is wrong with me when we talked about the mindset blocks that we can kind of come up with, it might not all be in your mind. It might be a part of what is going on inside of your body, which is why I love taking this whole person approach, this holistic approach to anxiety and healing that anxiety through everything that I just shared with you. Okay. So now you know with these 10 things, which are like, they're all big things within themselves, they're so important. These things are what will help you heal your anxiety. I teach you how to do these things inside of the Haven for High Functioning Anxiety. I teach you everything you need to know in a really simple, easy to understand way. I try not to talk at you or over you. I try to talk with you and help you understand. And then, of course, we get into the real life stuff where I'm coaching you. We're working through what is coming up for you and how I can help you in the moment. So, I hope that hearing these top 10 things that I wish I would have known on this anxiety healing journey will help you. I hope it'll help shortcut the time that you have on your journey so that maybe it doesn't take you over a decade like it did me. Maybe it can take you a little bit shorter. I have full faith that if you join us inside of the Haven, it will absolutely take you a shorter time frame. My goal is that within 90 days, you are feeling less anxious, and I'm here to help you get there. So make sure you hop on the wait list for the Haven for High Functioning Anxiety. That way you are the first to know when it opens up. You get not only a mega discount, like half off, which is insane. You're locked in at that rate for as long as you want to stay a member. It is cancel anytime. By the way, don't think I've ever said that on here on the podcast, but it is. And you get first dibs to join because I only have 25 spots for those founding members that start here with us in the Haven. If you have any questions, you can always send me a message. I am happy to help. I'll be sharing more information as the Haven opens up, but don't miss the wait list. You can head to erinkimbrell.com/links and get on there right now. All right, friends. Again, I hope today's episode was helpful. If you have any questions about anything I shared, reach out to me, and I will see you in the next episode. Have an amazing day, guys. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. You don't know how much it means to me. If you'd like more behind the scenes content, inspiration, and daily reminders that encourage and uplift you, follow me on Instagram at HeyErinKimbrell and send me a DM to say hey. If any of the episodes have been super helpful for you, please consider leaving me a review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. It helps me so incredibly much, and it allows the podcast to be seen by other people who need it. If you want to learn more from me, head to erinkimbrell.com. That's where you'll find all my free resources, read the podcast show notes, and learn more information about my online coaching and breathwork programs that help you create the life you want. I'm here for you, and I'm always cheering you on. I'll see you next time. I'm Erin Kimbrell, and this is the Empowered and Free podcast.